I don't know these mother effers, you know what I'm saying? So just keep it neutral. You know what I mean? But anyways, man, what's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Jay Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy. For you end up like BZ. But make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel. Everything you know about your boy Jay, it's in the description down below. But we got the hunt for America's weirdest killer. You know what I mean? For all my new subscribers and new viewers, if y'all want to go check out all of my true crime reactions, cartel reactions, true story reactions, it is in the playlist section over yonder, man. I ain't got too much to say. We're going to get straight into the video. Oh my God, man. Jay didn't talk long. Oh my God. It's impossible.
A mysterious serial murderer.
Can't believe it. I can't believe that. Intro shorter than 5 minutes. What?
David is getting ready to go out with his
Is this Jay or is this a clone?
It's a special occasion. The two teenagers met earlier this year. Since then, they've seen each other almost every day.
You look crazy.
But tonight is their first real date, and they want to make it special. David picks out a light blue shirt, a beige sport coat, and brown corduroy pants. He has butterflies in his stomach. He pockets some change, a white handkerchief, and a bottle of breath mints, just in case. He slips on his rough leather boots, grabs the keys to his mother's Rambler station wagon, and is on his way. It's only a short drive to Betty Lou's house.
Like I say, y'all, I am a man of many things, bro. You know what I'm saying? I listen to, like I told y'all, bro, my music playlist. Like when I get a girl, bro, when you come inside of Roscoe, bro, if y'all know who Roscoe is, that's my car. You know what I mean? My car name's Roscoe. We're going to be playing some Taylor Swift, man. You know what I mean? We're going to be playing some Cyndi Lauper, some Billie Eilish. And then shout it, I'm not doing this to impress you. This is what I listen to on a daily basis. You know what I mean? But man, what else I listen to, man? You know what I mean? What's her name, bro? What's her freaking name? Oh my God. Saza. That's her name, Saza. You feel me? I think her name is Saza, bro. You feel me? I think that's her name. But y'all listen to her too. Kill Bill, Snooze, man. Hey, the women be singing, bro. The women, hey, like I said, bro, I like women's songs better than men's songs. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
He pulls up outside and pauses to take a breath. Tonight is supposed to be special. A night to remember for the rest of his life.
Boy, finna have a little date or something.
Maybe it'll even be the start of their life together. When David sees Betty Lou, the world stops for a moment. He even forgets how nervous he is. He helps her into the car, and the pair drive off. Their parents think they're going to a Christmas concert, but they're actually headed somewhere else. To a quiet turnout just off Lake Herman Road. The spot is popular with young couples in Vallejo. It's a secluded space to enjoy some quality time away from their parents and siblings.
It's
Betty
weird.
Lou leans against David's shoulder. Tonight belongs only to them.
I mean, it's kind of a weird
An hour
date.
later, a pair of bright headlights cut through the darkness.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a weird date a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I realized a little picnic, you know, because I'm a picnic type of guy. You know, like I said, for me, I'm going to give y'all some tips and games. Like I said, I'm definitely not ready for a relationship right now. And I'm going to give y'all some games and tips. You know what I mean? And what your boy Jaden did. You know, basically, you feel me? I looked up a lot of date spots, a lot of things, bro. You know what I mean? I got places to eat. You know what I mean? Restaurants down, you feel me? Woody's Cheese Steak, that burger spot, Frida's, you know what I mean? El Rio, Del Taco, Yo Nuts, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what that is, but yeah, date spots, you know what I mean? Picnics, we got the Georgia Aquarium, we got the Color Sling, Lake Point Station, American Axis. You feel me? Like, I got all that, you feel me? I got all that, these date spots, so it's like, you know, High Museum of Art, Atlanta History Center, bro. Stuff like that, bro. So you gotta, before you get in a relationship, bro, you gotta, you know what I'm saying, be prepared. You feel me? Cause I ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to have a, you know what I mean, I'm trying to have a spontaneous relationship, bro. You know, I wanna have fun, bro. You know what I mean? I just wanna do different things. I feel like it's normal to go to the movies and go out to eat and, you know, that's just normal. Now, I mean, let's make this a night to remember, you feel me?
A second vehicle is
Kind of weird right here, though. I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of
It
weird.
pulls up right next to the Rambler. Suddenly, shots are fired straight into David's car. In a panic, the teenagers scramble out the passenger side door. but David only makes it as far as the passenger seat. Their attacker reaches through the open driver's side window, aims at a spot behind David's left ear, and pulls the trigger.
Dang.
Betty Lou has made it several meters away from the car. She's
Better
running,
scur off the lot.
hurried and desperate, and her breathing is shallow and frantic. The stranger is right behind her. There's no way she can escape him. She screams, piercing the quiet night air. Then, 5 shots ring out. They strike Betty Lou in the back, shattering the future she and David might have had. By now, it's 11:14 p.m. Betty Lou should have returned home long ago, but neither her nor David ever will. This is the first time the Zodiac Killer strikes. It's also the beginning of an exhaustive manhunt that will never truly end. The police will fail. Strange psychics will offer their help. And some of America's most renowned authorities will be stumped by relatively easy riddles. A hunt that will inspire numerous films, series, books, podcasts, and videos like this one. There will be copycat killers, some real, some only alleged. And obsessive amateur detectives and online communities dead set on finding the Zodiac Killer. Some will even think they have him. The search for Zodiac still captivates people to this day, but it also shows that stories only get as big as we allow them to.
Man was trying to go out just for a date. Got
This video
killed,
is
man.
largely based on the book Zodiac by Robert Graysmith. As always, you'll find the link and all our sources in the description. The newsroom of the San Francisco Chronicle is buzzing with life. The Chronicle is one of the largest and most influential newspapers in the entire West Coast. Color TV has been around for a while, but most people still start their day with their local morning paper. These thousands of readers expect their front page to feature breaking stories and the most important news. The Bay Area wants to be informed, surprised, and maybe even a little shocked. No one in the Chronicle's office knows that the paper itself is about to become part of a shocking story, that it will become an active player in a deadly game. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, and this is Mona, our producer.
Oh, hi, Doc.
Hey, man, we ain't got time for no ass, man. Jump ahead, okay? Jump ahead. You gotta get your money. You gotta get your money, though, bro.
And the Chronicle's publisher have gathered for their daily editorial conference. Every morning, they come together to plan the next day's edition. They discuss what's happening in San Francisco and the rest of the world, and they decide which topics their columnist Temp and Al should cover in their editorials. Meanwhile, Robert is drawing. He'll do 6 sketches now. Later on, he'll ink one of them, and that'll be tomorrow's editorial cartoon. Suddenly, their routine is interrupted by another employee who delivers a mysterious envelope. The front reads, "Please rush to editor." Inside is a letter and a sheet of paper filled with cryptic symbols. The letter begins with the words,
Dear editor, this is the murderer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman and the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo.
You're sick.
The message contains detailed information about the murders committed in the Bay Area in the previous months, things only the killer could know. And there's a threat.
If you do not print this cipher by afternoon of Friday, the 1st of August, I will go on a kill rampage Friday night.
I mean, shoot. You know, like I said, bro, I'm not making you kill nobody. See, that manipulation. That's not gonna work on me. You know what I mean? Honestly, I'm gonna tell somebody about the strange letter that I got. But I'm not finna be stressing myself out. Okay, I gotta upload this cipher, man, cause you know I don't want him to go kill other people. Sure, you kill other people, then. See, one thing I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna stress out. You know what I mean? Over a murderer. You know what I mean? You're gonna do what you want to do, bro. You're gonna do what you want to do regardless. You know what I mean? Straight up, bro. So do what you do, bro. I ain't gonna feel guilty about it. There's not no blood on my hands or nothing. Motherfucker, you just sick.
The 4 men don't know what to do. Publishing the cipher in the letter might produce more than just a front-page headline. It could send the city into a panic.
Oh, so he killing for attention. Okay, so it don't surprise me because, like I said, most of these people do things for attention anyway. So you're doing it for attention, okay? So you want to be known,
Even the entire region.
I know.
The murders mentioned in the mysterious letter have
You
already
attention-seeking
put the Bay
mother-
Area on edge for months. First,
Built
David
like a
and Betty
circle.
Lou were murdered. Then, just a few weeks ago, there was another attack.
I was tempted.
Darlene Farron is a waitress at Terry's restaurant. It's a classic diner, serving waffles, fried chicken, and pie.
Waffles, fried chicken, and pie. Know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't have a good waffle in a minute. Probably got to scurry off the lot, the Waffle House. You know what I'm saying? You know what I didn't have in a long time? IHOP. You know what I mean? Like, bro, y'all, oh my God. Long live my grandma, man. Bro, y'all, what I mean, bro, my grandma made the best freaking pancakes unknown to mankind. Oh my God, y'all, bro. Y'all, I would do anything to taste them pancakes again, bro. My grandma was a chef, bro, but y'all, homemade pancakes too, y'all, not out the box. Homemade. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, y'all, when I mean no sugarcoat, y'all, it's the best pancakes I've ever tasted in my dang life. I would do anything to taste them pancakes again. My grandma used to freaking grub. Y'all know about grandma's cooking, bro. If your grandma can't cook, I don't know a grandma that can't cook. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. You know what I mean? My grandma used to throw down. You know what I mean? And my grandma that's still alive today, you know, my dad, mom, she throw down too. But I remember, bro, like I said, y'all, I didn't even like black eyed peas. Bro, she came in, put some neck bones in them. Like, bro, yeah, I was like, what the freak? Like, my grandma that's still living, bro, she made some black eyed peas. I don't even like black eyed peas. Man, I was like, You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the heck did she put in these black eyed peas? Did you miss me? You feel me? I don't even like black eyed peas. It's just something about grandma cooking that just make you go stupid.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Darlene works the late shift until 3 in the morning. She's friendly, talkative, and extremely popular with customers.
Nice old
People even line up to have her wait on them. Darlene just gave birth to her daughter, Dina, and she and her husband purchased a small house in Virginia Street. But she doesn't seem entirely happy. It's an open secret that she sees other men. While she's out, her husband or a babysitter stays home with Dina. Friends will later recall that she seems exhausted, nervous, and scared. She thinks she's being watched. In her own home, just steps away from the sheriff's office. And here, at the diner. She says she's seen a white car with old California plates outside the restaurant. In recent weeks, her sister and her friends have noticed a similar car. Darlene thinks she knows who it belongs to. This stocky, well-dressed man. He wears horn-rimmed glasses and smells of leather. Darlene says she knows him, but no one will ever find out from where. The man sits at the counter eating strawberry shortcake and pretending to read a newspaper. But he never really lets Darlene out of his sight.
Farewell and goodbye.
I'm gonna keep it real, bro. Like, you got some crazy talent, Fern. I'm gonna just keep it real with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got some crazy. I see why you got 4.6 million subscribers, boy. You know what I'm saying? You got some crazy talent, boy. I know it takes a long time to edit these videos. Hold on, I like that. I like that song, man.
And goodbye.
It's the 4th of July. America is celebrating almost 200 years of independence. Darlene picks up her friend Mike Mageau and confidently steers her 63 Corvair through the festive town, despite not having a driver's license. She met Mike and his twin brother at Terry's Diner. Over time, the three became friends, and the twins became rivals for Darlene's affection. They would fight over driving her to work or doing her washing. At some point, Darlene and Mike notice they're being closely followed. The other car looks like it could be a Ford Falcon. Darlene keeps trying to shake it, but she can't. The car gets closer and closer. Finally, it forces Darlene's car into a parking lot near a golf course in the outskirts of town. Then it speeds
You stopped?
off. For a brief moment, Darlene and Mike think they're safe. But just minutes later, the
Drive!
Falcon returns.
Why are
The
you?
driver seems to have changed his mind. Mike and Darlene are hit by a blinding light.
Why are you stopping? I'm just saying, like, why are they stopping? Like, why are you stopping? Why are you like, come on, he left and like, what are you doing?
The driver seems to have changed his mind.
Why are you just standing
Mike
there?
and Darlene are hit by a blinding light. A man gets out of the car and
Yep,
walks
you're
toward them. He's holding a large flashlight in his hands. Mike thinks the man is police. Maybe Darlene knows him. After all, she's been seeing men who work at the sheriff's office. But before he can even pull out his ID, the roar of a gunshot fills his ears. He feels blood running down his face. Darlene collapses onto the steering wheel. 2 bullets hit her right arm. 2 more hit her left. Then 5 more hit her in the back, piercing her lung and the left ventricle of her heart. Frantic, Mike claws open the door and topples out of the car. Later on, the police will find him here, bleeding from the neck and cheek, his jaw shattered and a hole ripped through his tongue. A concerned neighbor reports the gunshots to the police, and officers Rust and Lynch are sent to the scene shortly
Some
after.
real evil junk, bro.
The two men take their time.
Just killing for
Rust
no
doesn't see
reason.
any urgency.
It's the 4th of July and there's kids out there shooting firecrackers.
But he's wrong. Not acting on the call immediately is a mistake. If they had, the shooter probably would have driven right by them. Shortly after, a man places a call to the Vallejo Police Department. His voice is even and consistent. His words sound rehearsed.
I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway to the public park, you'll find kids in a brown car.
I'm just saying, like, why are you doing this though? Like, I'm just like confused. Like what satisfaction? Like, that's some real demon junk, bro. That's some real demon junk. Like, you just going around just killing people for no reason. That's crazy.
They were shot.
That is
9
killing.
millimeter-
Killing is crazy in general. Like, I'm not gonna say killing crazy in general because you come up on Jay Shorty with the 40, he ready in his glory, he trying to catch a body and tell us home his story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say killing is. You know what I'm saying? Because I promise you, it's play with Jay. It's gonna be some killing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say all killing is bad. You know what I mean? But this right here, man, this is insane. So insane. I can't even function in the brain.
Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye.
Track that mother effer, man. Track that mother effer.
Specific telephone will later trace the call to.
You looking at what Frank, man? Can you track that mother effer right now?
The booth is located right in front of the Vallejo Sheriff's Office.
What?
It's also within sight of
That mother effer called right in front of the sheriff's office. You bold as mother effer, boy.
Located right in front of the Vallejo Sheriff's Office.
You a
It's
bold mother
also
effer.
within sight of Darlene's little green house. Darlene's friends and family also report having received strange calls that night. All they
You gotta
could
go.
hear was deep, heavy breathing. At the hospital, Darlene is declared dead on arrival. Mike pulls through, and it won't be long until the killer strikes again.
Bro, what's up with my mans right here, bro?
A man sits alone in a room writing letters. He uses a blue felt tip pen to compose 3 nearly identical texts. One of them reads,
Oh yeah, I forgot this way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So they really can't, track. I mean, they probably, oh yeah, I forgot. You know what I'm saying? He would have been caught. You know what I'm saying? You don't really hear about serial killers nowadays. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? They probably loose, but you don't really hear about them. Got too much technology for you to be a serial killer now. You gonna get caught up immediately. You know what I'm saying? That's how Bunny and Clyde, you feel me, got away with so many crime. And Bunny and Clyde, bro, would have been around today? Oh my God.
First, girl was wearing patterned slacks. 2, the boy was also shot in the knee. 3, brand name of ammo was Western. To prove I killed them, I shall state some facts only I and the police know.
the paper measures 18 by 25 centimeters, or 7 by 10 inches. It's a unique format the man will
Ridiculous.
return to again and again. It'll become unmistakably associated with his letters.
Christmas. First, brand name of ammo, Super X. 2, 10 shots were fired. 3, the boy was on his back with his feet to the car. 4, the girl was on her right side, feet to the west.
The handwriting drifts downward as it crosses the page, and it's quite distinct. The letter N is small and edgy. The R resembles a check mark. He ends his letters with a symbol resembling the crosshairs of a gun. In the years to come, it'll become his signature. He's given some thought to making his message even more impactful, and he's decided to pair each letter with a separate message, a cipher. Now he just needs to find an encryption method. He could simply shift the letters, turn the A's into C's and the D's into F's. That system would be basic and easy to use. But he needs something more sophisticated. He decides to replace the letters with a range of different symbols. Greek characters, Morse code, and weather symbols. Letters from the Latin alphabet, naval symbols, and astrological signs. Then he adds another layer of complexity by encoding his message homophonically. Each letter can be represented by multiple symbols. That makes it essentially impossible to decode the text through frequency analysis. You can't just count how often certain symbols appear and match that to typical letter frequencies.
Smart
A
mother.
psycholinguistics expert will later claim that whoever composed the cipher must have at least been trained in elementary cryptography. But today, we know this first cipher wasn't actually that sophisticated. The Codebreakers by David Kahn and Codes and Ciphers by John Laffin describe similar encryption methods. It's very likely the author of these letters simply used these two books as guides. While he would have had to track them down, neither was that hard to come by. The phantom writer carefully arranges symbol after symbol. Finally, each of his 3 ciphers consists of 8 rows with 17 symbols each. He pairs each one with a normal letter. Then he mails them to 3 newspapers in the Bay Area: the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald. Like Jack the Ripper before him, this man will use the media to taunt the police with cryptic clues to his identity. The editorial team at the Chronicle eventually decides to print their cipher. Their colleagues at the Vallejo Times-Herald follow their lead. The Examiner waits until Sunday, publishing its cipher 2 days later. The killing spree threatened in the letter doesn't happen. But publishing it has another effect. Now the public knows about the mysterious killer. The entire Bay Area grows increasingly frightened. Before long, parents are telling their children not to leave the house. Jack E. Stiltz has been running the Vallejo Police Department for 21 years. When he took over as chief back in 1948, the city was struggling with gambling, drugs, and prostitution. His reforms and cleanup efforts have produced some good results. But now his town, of all places, is haunted by a ruthless serial killer. A man who Stiltz thinks is killing just for the thrill of it, who he describes as the most dangerous individual he's ever encountered in his 30 years in law enforcement. A few days ago, Stiltz publicly called on David, Betty Lou, and Darlene's killer to send another letter, one with more details, proving it was really him who did it. The response comes quickly in the form of a 3-page letter.
Dear editor, this is the Zodiac speaking. In answer to your asking for more details about the good times I have had in Vallejo, I shall be very happy to supply even more material. By the way, are the police having a good time with the code? If not, tell them to cheer up. When they do crack it, they will have me.
So you want to get caught.
The killer names himself Zodiac. The word refers to the zodiac circle of astrological signs.
So you're very unhappy. You're a very unhappy individual. So people like these right here, did you miss me? Is very unhappy. You know what I mean? Honestly, he's very unhappy. You know, doesn't really like himself. Look, he wants to get caught. You know what I mean? He basically has nothing to lose. He feel like he has nothing to live for. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing to live for, so I might as well just go and splatter brains. You know what I'm saying? So he has nothing to live for. People that does these things like this has nothing to live for. Doesn't like himself. He don't care about himself. He don't care about his life. His life is so little to him. He don't even care about his own life. So you think he care about yours?
4th of July, I did not open the car door. The window was rolled down already. The boy was originally sitting in the front seat when I began firing. When I fired the first shot at his head, he leapt backwards at the same time, thus spoiling my aim. He ended up on the back seat, then the floor in the back, thrashing out very violently with his legs. That's how I shot him in the knee. I did not leave the scene of the killing with squealing tires and racing engine as described in the Vallejo papers. I drove away slowly, so as not to draw attention to my car.
Stiltz admits the letter includes details that haven't been made public, but he's still not convinced. He thinks that knowledge could have been obtained from witnesses at the crime scenes. But soon, there will be even more victims. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard have been close friends since college. Today they're driving out to Lake Berryessa. It's a beautiful spot surrounded by rolling hills. On a small peninsula, they lay down a picnic blanket and revel in the stillness.
Hey, that's the most beautiful thing.
Near the water,
Friends, though, right?
the land drops off abruptly, hiding the shoreline. From Brian and Cecilia's perspective, it's impossible to see anyone approaching from that direction until they're already very close. And right now, someone is. A tall, powerfully built man emerges. He's wearing a black executioner's hood that looks almost medieval. On his tunic, a white cross cuts across a circle. It's the symbol the Zodiac killer uses to sign his letters. The man is carrying a knife with a 30-centimeter blade. With it, he stabs Brian and then Cecilia. Again and again. A total of 24 times.
24 times.
About an hour later, the phone rings at Napa Police Department. A calm and controlled voice says,
I would have jumped in the water. I would have jumped straight in the water. You know what I'm saying? Straight in the water. Would have swim far away. You know what I mean? But like I said, y'all know me. I got Shorty with the 40. He ready. He in his glory. He trying to catch a body and tell his homies a story. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what it is with me. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. I'm always pistol packing. You know what I mean? This is exactly what I'm saying right here. You feel me? They just trying to go out for a little good, little nice little picnic. Dang, bro. People can't even enjoy themselves nowadays. Just trying to go out with his lady, enjoy the view, enjoy the water, playing a little radio. Just trying to enjoy a good little picnic, and you got this built like a sack of laundry, man. Stabbed him 24 times. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, this world pissed me off.
Phone rings at Napa Police Department.
World pissed me off
A
sometimes.
calm and controlled voice says,
I want to report a murder. No, a double murder.
the caller doesn't seem to know that Brian, though severely injured, survived the assault.
He
The
survived?
police believe the attacker must have left the scene right away, but not before leaving a message on the door of Brian's car. The dates Betty Lou, David, and Darlene were murdered, and today's date. Crime lab technicians will later discover some less obvious clues. Tracks suggesting the attacker's vehicle has heavily worn tires and very deep footprints. The suspect must weigh at least 95 kilos or 200 pounds. A police officer with that exact weight walking alongside the tracks doesn't sink down as deeply as the unknown individual. The footprints reveal another lead too. They're most likely from a Chukka-type boot called the Wing Walker. As part of a government contract, over 1 million pairs of this model were produced. The investigators will never be able to trace them all.
In most murder cases, you'll find a motive. But of course, this guy is just a killer, a mad killer, and you have no motive.
This is Captain Don Townsend of the Napa County Sheriff's Office. He'll speak to the press again later to announce what he believes is a possible motive. He thinks the murderer can't be anyone but a mentally ill person who derives
Mentally
sexual
ill.
gratification from the act of killing.
This guy is a pathological, psycho, killer. There's no doubt about it.
A psychology professor supports that assessment. The Zodiac killer probably experiences sexual satisfaction through the deliberate mutilation of certain body parts. Captain Townsend is convinced that Zodiac hates women. Profoundly. In all known cases, the female victims are assaulted far more brutally than the men. He stabs Cecilia once in each breast, once between the legs, and
Oh my
once in the abdomen.
God.
And across his 3 attacks on couples, twice the man has survived. The woman has always died. The assault on Cecilia also marks a shift. It's the first time the Zodiac killer uses a knife. One investigator will later explain that
If you wanted to go out and kill for the sheer sake of killing, you could use a high-powered rifle and kill it 200, 300 yards. But by plunging a knife into someone, it's the most intimate contact you can have with a victim.
an intimacy that experts think people like the Zodiac killer are incapable of forming in their normal lives. His propensity to violence and misogyny are all over his ciphers, too. Just weeks ago, the first one was cracked, and not by a specialist. Donald and Betty Harden are both school teachers. On any other weekend, they'd be unwinding and taking it easy. But this Sunday,
Yeah,
there's
like
something they
easy.
can't let go of. The cipher published in the Examiner 2 days earlier. They clear the dining room table and gather some sharp pencils, a ruler, and an eraser. Then they're back at it. Betty has a theory. The killer is such an egomaniac that he probably begins his messages with I. The Hardens also suspect he'll use the word kill repeatedly, so they look for recurrent 4-symbol patterns that could represent it. Their theory holds up.
I like killing people because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all.
Betty and Donald also spot the traps Zodiac built into the cipher. 15 times he uses a backwards Q. This is probably meant to trick readers into thinking it represents the most commonly used letter in English, E. But 7 different signs are used to encode that letter. At the same time, Zodiac appears to have made multiple mistakes. The application of his own code is sloppy and several words are misspelled. At this point, neither of America's most renowned investigative institutions, the FBI and the CIA, have managed to solve the cipher. As they decode the final piece, the Hardens are the first.
To kill something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all the lone or stray people I have killed will become my slaves. I will not get
If that's not delusional, then I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? He really believe it though. You know what I'm saying? He really believe, once I die, I'll be in paradise. And the people that I have killed will become my slaves. That is the most delusional and oh my God, he's mentally ill, man. You know, something wrong with him.
Give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for my afterlife.
You finna be in hell. That's what you gonna be. You gonna be in straight hell. Burning and burning and burning.
To avoid isolated areas and not go out alone after dark. People get the message.
Talking
Local
about
restaurants and drive-ins that are usually packed until late at night.
the audacity of some of you humans to really think like that. Like, I pray for some of y'all, man, for real, bro. Cause that mind, bro, a lot of y'all minds is jacked up nowadays, man. I'm telling you, boy, like, you don't get control over that mind, you're gonna be thinking just like the Zodiac killer right here. Did you miss me? You know what I mean? But nah, though, man, like, that mind, bro, Satan can get your mind. Oh, man. You feel me? And like I said, Satan is a man of many things. You know what I mean? So it's nothing that you're off limits from. You know what I mean? He's going to try to tempt you with everything possible. Everything, anything that you can imagine. And a lot of these people be doing these things because you ain't got God, bro. You're screwed without God. You're not beating Satan without God, bro. That's why you constantly heed on these thoughts and heed on these thoughts. But when you got God, bro, he help you with these thoughts. See, I promise you, if this Zodiac killer had God, I promise you he wouldn't turn it out to be the Zodiac killer. You know what I mean? These right here, what he's doing right now, like I always said, and I'm going to say it again, came from the mind. You know what I mean? Satan got the man's mind. So guess what? If you don't take authority over your mind will take authority over you, my brothers and sisters. I repeat that a lot, bro, because y'all don't understand how freaking the mind, bro. Everything starts from the mind, bro. I just be trying to tell y'all, man, you got to train the mind, man. You feel me? Because there's a lot of y'all that's watching this video today. You think evil thoughts. Thought something evil today. You know what I mean? You thought something malicious today. You thought something sexual today. You know what I mean? If we can see what come across your mind, but you will be ashamed with you. That's why I say the outer appearance is not the real version of you. You know what I mean? It's the things that we cannot see that's the real version of you. You know what I mean? That's why I don't trust people at all. Whole time you're smiling in my face, but you hate me on the inside. You know what I mean? That's why God said all a person's ways seem pure to them, but motives are weighed by the Lord.
Across the Bay Area, the authorities
Give a dang about your outside appearance.
Since the murders occurred
Motherfucker, how are you in the heart?
3 separate police
Whole
departments.
time this motherfucker trying to act like he a good person in the outside, but in the inside you a freaking murderer. Whole time you trying to act like you're a good person outside, but in the inside you're a hater. You know what I mean? Whole time you trying to act like you're a good person on the outside, but in the inside you a jealous person. You see what I'm saying? Outside is just an appearance. I'm not freaking appeased by the outside appearance like all these other people. You know what I mean? Eventually you gonna tell on yourself. Eventually your true self gonna come out. That's why I try to tell y'all when it comes to this right here. I always say it all the time. Social media, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's people's true self right there. That's social media. People that be in the comments, people that be doing all that. That, like I said, the little trollers and all that. That's y'all true self. But the whole time, I promise you, you don't act like that in real life. You know what I'm saying? Because you know why? It's a facade. You got to put on this little act when you step outside the door. You know what I mean? But when you get inside, you ain't got to act no more. Now your true self come out now.
Case based on witness descriptions.
Promise you.
Searching for the same
you ain't like that outside.
A stocky man, mid-20s to mid-30s, with glasses and dark wavy hair. But from the very beginning, the investigation moves slowly. Each department works its own leads, often without knowing
Person
what the
true
others are
self
doing.
is
Decoding
inside.
the letters frequently requires coordinating with experts from other cities. That process is often complicated and
I
time-consuming.
love making mother effers uncomfortable.
One officer admits to the press afterward that
our knowledge of each other's crimes was not as sharp as it might be.
to make things worse, the police make a grave mistake, one with serious consequences.
You need to catch this mother effer immediately.
Paul Stein's taxi
For some
is
more-
stuck in
for some
late-night
more
San
bodies
Francisco
drop.
Traffic. As he inches forward, Paul curses. The traffic is frustrating, but he's just months away from a PhD in English, and the taxi pays his tuition. On the sidewalk, a stocky man steps out from under an awning and waves him down.
That's that mother effer.
Paul picks him up. About 15 minutes later, they reach the man's destination, an upscale neighborhood in northern San Francisco. But the passenger asks Paul to go 1 block further. At the next intersection, the cab pulls over. A party's going on across the street. At the second-story window, teenagers look out over the wet pavement below. Normally, Paul would stop the meter and ask for the fare, but suddenly, the passenger's left arm is clenched
Oh
tightly
my
around
God.
Paul's neck. A gun presses up against his right cheek. Then the man pulls the trigger. At exactly 9:58 p.m., a police officer logs a call. The teenagers
Man
across
was
the
a
street
full-time college student, bro. You know what I mean? Only doing taxi, bro, because it pays for his tuition. Ended up getting killed.
couldn't see exactly what was going on inside the cab.
Oh my
But they
God.
know they witnessed something terrible. They say the suspect is a man wearing dark clothing. But when the APB goes out, patrol units are told to look for a black man. On their way to the scene, the officers see a stocky man lumbering along in the fog.
That's
He
him.
seems to match the description perfectly, but he isn't black. The officers shout to him, asking if he's seen another man. The man points them in a direction and the patrol car drives off. The two policemen don't realize they probably just spoke to the killer himself. But later on, they publicly admit to their mistake. Back at the crime scene, detectives assume a robbery has gone terribly wrong. San Francisco has recently seen a series of attacks on taxi drivers. This one must have been the work of an amateur. Paul's wallet is gone, but he just started his shift, so there probably wasn't much cash in it. He's still wearing his expensive watch, and the killer left the scene dripping in blood. Shortly after, two experts from the crime lab arrive at the scene. They immediately look for latent fingerprints that may have been transferred to surfaces by sweat or the skin's natural oils. To render them visible, the experts need to dust the taxi's surfaces with gray or black powder. Once a print becomes visible, they carefully lift it with transparent tape to preserve it for analysis. Their meticulousness pays off. On the door, they find bloody prints from a right hand. Now they just need to compare these prints against those of the day's passengers and against police records. But the process is painstakingly slow. This is the 1960s, so there are no
Oh,
digital
yeah.
databases.
Forgot.
Fingerprints are stored on
1960s.
paper cards. Every comparison requires hours of concentrated manual labor.
So that's why he can do this, you know what I mean? Because it's the 1960s. Not no technology around.
Specialists known as dactyloscopists first look at general patterns like arches, loops, and whorls. But what really matters are the tiny details that make every print unique. Ridge endings, bifurcations, tiny dots, crossovers, and spurs. In the end, there's no match. The police
Dang.
are baffled.
No
There are
match?
now 5 victims, and still no trace of the killer. The Chronicle receives another letter.
This is Zodiac speaking. I am the murderer of the taxi driver over by Washington Street and Maple Street. To prove this, here is a blood-stained piece of his shirt.
Before this, investigators hadn't considered the Zodiac killer a suspect in Paul Stein's murder. The crime just didn't fit his known pattern. Paul was alone. The attack happened in the middle of a residential area, not a remote lover's lane on the outskirts of town. And the killer only fired a single shot. But the bloody piece of Paul's shirt seems to prove it. In case the Chronicle considers not printing it in its entirety, the letter also contains a terrible threat.
School children make a nice target. I think I shall wipe out a school bus some morning. Just shoot at the front tire and then pick up the kiddies as they come bouncing out.
When the paper
Oh, yeah,
publishes
this
the
mother
letter,
crazy.
the Bay Area is hit by another wave of panic, the biggest one yet. People were already living in fearful, uncertain times. The 1960s are tumultuous, marked by political assassinations, Manson
JFK.
murders, and the Vietnam War. And for the first time, the public can watch most of it unfold on color TV. Thousands frequently take to the streets in the Bay Area's major cities. There are anti-war demonstrations, sit-ins, and protest marches. Many wear the now famous peace sign buttons. In one of his later letters, the Zodiac killer will sarcastically demand protesters start wearing his symbol instead. At a moment when many people desperately hope for peace, the Zodiac killer attacks society from within by threatening the most vulnerable target of all: children. In Napa County alone, 65 school buses take thousands of children to school every day. The vehicles cover a daily total of 7,000 kilometers. Some stretches of road are quite dangerous, with isolated sections, sharp turns, and blind intersections. Following Zodiac's threat, bus drivers are instructed on handling potentially violent attacks. Keep driving the bus, even on a flat tire. Tell the children to lie on the floor. Don't stop until you've reached a well-populated area. Protection is ramped up too. 70 units of heavily armed policemen guard the Napa County buses. Rangers in pickup trucks escort them, while air patrol planes fly overhead. Police protection is increased in almost every community in Northern California. Plainclothes officers are deployed. Every threat, no matter how small, is taken seriously. A few days later, a man calls the Oakland Police Department. He claims to be the Zodiac Killer, and he demands to speak with one of the two most famous defense attorneys in the country.
This is the Zodiac speaking. I want you to get in touch with F. Lee Bailey. If you can't come up with Bailey, I'll settle for Mel Belly. I want one or the other to appear on the Channel 7 talk show. I'll make contact by telephone.
Melvin Belly agrees right away. Just hours later, he's in the studio. Half of America is glued to their TVs. In a normal edition of the show, viewers can call in to participate. But tonight, the lines are kept clear so the Zodiac Killer can get in touch. And he does. He even gives Belly his real name, Sam.
Tell us what's going on inside you right now, Sam. Please.
I have headache.
All right. How long have you had those headaches, Sam? In a long time?
Sam hangs up and calls back. Eventually, he loses control and simply screams over and over, and he repeats his terrible threat.
I want to kill those kids.
Sam calls the show 35 times. Only 12 of the calls are heard on air. The longest of them is 9 minutes. That's long enough to trace the call, and long enough to find out that Sam is not the Zodiac Killer. He's a hospital patient, suffering from a mental disorder. Shortly after, the Chronicle receives 2 new letters from the real Zodiac.
So who is the Zodiac
Inside
Killer?
the first envelope is a greeting card.
That motherfucker ain't the Zodiac Killer. Then who the frick is the Zodiac Killer then, bro?
Says,
Sorry, I haven't written, but I just washed my pen.
the message inside reads,
And look, you're pissing me
I
off.
thought you would need a good laugh before you hear the bad news. You won't get the news for a while yet. P.S. Could you print this new cipher in your front page? I get awfully lonely when I am ignored. So lonely, I could do my thing.
The enclosed cipher is his most complex yet.
Okay.
It's composed of 340
So lonely I
characters,
could do
and
my
it won't be
thing.
solved for 5 decades.
What? You said it won't be solved for what?
Composed of 340 characters, and it won't be solved for 5 decades.
Dang, so that cipher right here was not solved for 5 decades. Dang. 5 decades? That's crazy.
December 3, 2020. 3 men sit at their
God.
computers on different sides of the planet. American software developer David Aranachak, Belgian computer programmer Jarl van Eyck, and Australian mathematician Sam Blake. For years, they've been collaboratively obsessing over the same mystery, the 340-character cipher the Zodiac Killer sent to the San Francisco Chronicle following the TV show. With his first riddle solved within a week, Zodiac must have made a bigger effort. His second cipher was almost certainly created with pen and paper
How
too,
long have I been
but it proved
live?
complex enough to remain unbroken for 51 years. This isn't for lack of trying. Numerous experts have reportedly taken a crack at what has become known as Z340. The FBI, the American Cryptogram Association, Navy cryptographers, countless amateur codebreakers, and the NSA. David, Jarl, and Sam alone have already spent years trying to break it. They know it's
Gotta
homophonic.
catch this
Z340
motherfucker.
consists of 63 different symbols,
Hour and
so
12
every
minutes.
plain text letter is represented by several. But they have another theory. The Zodiac Killer must have done something else to his message before encrypting it. They start experimenting. Sam sends David a total of 650,000 variations of the cipher. David runs them all through a code-breaking program developed by Jarl called AZ Decrypt. For months, thousands of these results look like gibberish. But today, December 3rd, David suddenly stumbles on some real words in one of the solutions. Hope you are, trying to catch me, and the gas chamber.
Yeah, they trying to
No
catch
one
you for sure.
believes them, but these words will be the key to finally solving Z340. The Zodiac Killer's first cipher was delivered in 3 separate letters, so Jarl proposes splitting the 340 cipher into 3. The first 2 sections comprise 2 paragraphs. Each has 9 lines. The third is just 2 lines. They rearrange the cipher using
Very
the diagonal
confusing.
reading rule. They start by writing out the symbol in the upper left-hand corner. Then they move 1 symbol down and 2 to the right and write out the symbol there. This continues until they reach the edge of the cipher. Then they repeat the scheme starting with the top row's second letter. Then comes the final tweak. As it searches for the rest of the key, David tells Jarl's decrypting software to retain the words he found before. Hope you were trying to catch me, and gas chamber. He clicks a button, and boom, a phrase pops out. That wasn't me on the TV show. David leaps out of his chair yelling, "Holy shit!" He knows the Zodiac sent this cipher about 2 weeks after Sam called into the TV show. They're on the right track. Apart from being a homophonic substitution cipher,
I'm just like, dang though, bro. Like, this is some smart, man. This Zodiac killer, bro. You're very smart, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of starting to piss me off a little bit. You know what I mean? Because one thing I dread for super thugs to be locked up. So every time every minute that you're free, you know, it's kind of starting to piss me off a little bit. You feel me?
TV show. They're on the right track. Apart from being a homophonic substitution cipher, Z340 is also a transposition cipher.
Killing people for no
The
dang
plain text
reason.
characters have been shifted according to a more or less regular
I hope
system.
you are having
The
lots of
international
fun.
team has to make some final adjustments.
Let me see how you did that. Let me see how you did that, bro.
40 is also a transposition
I hope.
cipher.
I don't know how you did
The
that.
plain text characters have been shifted according to a more or less regular system.
Hey, what? How do you
The
figure that out?
international team has to make some final adjustments. Some words are misspelled, spelled backwards, or exempted from the diagonal reading rule. But eventually they come up with a coherent message. 2 days later, the FBI confirms it. In his message, Zodiac clarifies that he isn't afraid of death.
Oh.
He believes dying will bring him to paradise,
Okay.
where all of his victims will serve him as slaves.
I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. I now have enough slaves to work for me, where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise.
Okay.
That is why they are afraid of death.
I'm not afraid of death because I know I'm going to true paradise. You're just delusional. You're just a mental health patient. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, you're just a mental health. Who you think you're supposed to be? You think you're supposed to be God or something? You're a freaking killer. You're a mental health nut, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to speak bad in your name, bro. But you just speaking like you just God or something, bro. You are a human being, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that right there is delusion. Your delusion is really starting to piss me off. You're delusional. You know what I mean? You're a psychopath, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're speaking like you're God or something. You have no control of what happens to you in the afterlife, my boy. You have no control. You know, so
Am not afraid, because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise.
okay.
Cracking the 51
Hey, the devil has deceived you, boy.
People still fascinated by the case,
Tuh.
but it doesn't bring investigators any
Whole time
closer
you'll be like,
to actually solving it.
my back on fire.
Back
My
in
back on
1969,
fire.
Detectives turned to the other
gonna
level
be
of
on
the action
fire.
after the TV show. This one is a 7-page diatribe aimed at the police. The killer mockingly refers
You
to the
better not
officers
let
as
him catch
blue
you.
pigs and accuses them of making blatant mistakes in the manhunt. The letter also includes a drawing. It's a sketch of a bomb Zodiac wants to plant on a school
Bro, he
bus.
mocking y'all, bro.
The threat isn't made public, but it stokes fear of a potential school bus attack. Investigators are growing desperate. About 2 months after
Catch
the
this
murder of
mother
taxi
effer.
driver Paul Stein, a self-proclaimed seer named Joseph DeLuise comes forward. A few years ago, he accurately predicted that the Kennedy family would be hit by a horrible tragedy. Now he claims to have been receiving mental transmissions from the Zodiac killer. He says he's begun to form a mental picture of Zodiac and to receive detailed insight into the killer's personal life. DeLuise feels that Zodiac prefers walking over driving, that he spent time in some kind of reform institution when he was young. He consumes drugs like speed or goofballs before going out to kill. His star sign is either Scorpio or Aquarius, and he has a little box where he keeps the things that drive him to commit his horrible crimes. DeLuise offers to help the police. Accompanied by officers from 2 police departments, he visits the crime scenes to pick up more vibrations. The psychic develops intuitions about the killer's deep loneliness, love for flowers, and intense hatred of the police. Aside from that, his visits produce nothing of value. After Paul Stein's death, more and more people begin to actively engage with the case. The Napa County Sheriff's Office receives hundreds of leads. The San Francisco PD gets almost 1,000. Concerned citizens start suspecting their neighbors, ex-husbands, and co-workers. Between 1969 and 1983, over 2,500 suspects are considered in San Francisco alone. But most of it leads nowhere. Throughout the 1970s, police investigators keep
They
coming back to
still
one
ain't
man
catch
in
this
particular,
mother.
Arthur Lee Allen. He's the only suspect ever publicly named by the police. In 1971, a former friend of Allen's contacts the authorities. He tells them Allen repeatedly expressed disturbing fantasies about killing couples and school children, and sending cryptic letters about his murders to the police. The friend claims he even considered calling himself Zodiac. So police begin investigating Arthur Lee Allen. He matches the killer's general description. He's said to have known Darlene casually and to have lived in Vallejo at the time of his murders. He also owned a typewriter of the same model allegedly used to type some of the Zodiac letters. Multiple search warrants are issued for him over the years, but neither Allen's fingerprints nor his handwriting match the existing evidence. Years later, advances in DNA analysis effectively rule him out as the Zodiac killer, posthumously. Allen dies in 1992 at the age of 58. He was never formally charged with anything. Over time, investigators and amateur sleuths identify numerous potential suspects.
Still haven't caught this man.
But like Allen, none
Crazy.
can be conclusively linked to the crimes. The Zodiac remains a ghost. So much so that a 2020 book proposes another wild but highly intriguing theory.
They didn't
What if
catch
the
this mother.
Zodiac killer never existed? What if it was all just a hoax? One or possibly even several cipherists claiming multiple unrelated crimes as their own. In The Myth of the Zodiac Killer, American English professor Thomas Horan questions the premise of a single perpetrator. He argues that the murders attributed to the Zodiac Killer differ too much in method and circumstances to be the work of one person. He also points to inconsistencies in witness descriptions, composite sketches, and even the letters themselves. Horan even suggests that the individual writing as Zodiac could have claimed responsibility for attacks they never actually committed. What if Zodiac was just a literary invention? What if he led the police and everyone else to attribute a series of unrelated crimes to one fictional character? What if everyone just badly wanted to believe in a bone-chilling serial killer narrative? Several professionals and linguistic
explain the
experts have
dead
questioned
bodies.
Horan's theory. In the end, we'll probably never know.
Explain the dead bodies.
Decades pass with investigators more or less in the dark. Each year, more and more retire.
You didn't even
The
catch him.
case of the Zodiac Killer eventually ends up buried under stacks of other cold and unsolved cases. But somehow it refuses to go away entirely.
So he's never been caught.
The evidence collected in Vallejo is re-examined time and again. Investigators and amateur sleuths remain convinced that someday they'll be able to reveal Zodiac's identity. Some even believe they already know it. In 2021, a group of around 40 amateur detectives claims to have identified the real Zodiac Killer. The self-proclaimed case breakers say Zodiac is a former member of the U.S. Air Force. But the police department quickly dismisses leads like this as no more than theories without hard evidence. But alleged breakthroughs keep resurfacing. As it happened, the story dominated newspapers' front pages. Radio broadcasts and television reports beamed the name Zodiac and his horrible crimes into living rooms across the nation. Today, it's series, podcasts, movies, online forums, and videos like this one. Apparently, the Zodiac Killer still captivates the public and the media, even today. Even when no one has heard from him in almost half a century. Officially. Just recently, a TikTok video went viral because the young man in it claimed the Zodiac Killer was his grandfather.
San Francisco was terrorized in the late 60s and early 70s by a man who called himself the Zodiac Killer. He claimed 37 murders. Police confirmed at least
37.
6. 4 years ago, the killing stopped, and so did Zodiac's letter. Now there's another letter.
Experts are divided on whether this letter was truly composed by the Zodiac Killer, or if it's just a really good imitation.
Zodiac Killer.
The news of his supposed return spreads like wildfire. It'll be the last Zodiac-related message to make major headlines. The San Francisco Chronicle's front page headline reads, "Zodiac ends silence." In the letter itself, Zodiac, or a copycat, brags about always having been one step ahead of the police. He might not be entirely wrong. But in many ways, the Zodiac won't go down in history as particularly smart. Today, many experts think he was just a pathetic, deeply lonely man, a misogynist incapable of forming real consensual intimacy, a failure who vastly overestimated himself. He claimed to be responsible for more than 35 murders. Authorities attribute at least 5 homicides to him. He probably wouldn't have approved of these kinds of assessments, though he probably would have liked one thing, the fact that Hollywood made a movie about him, just what he seemed to wish for in his final letter.
Oh man, so they never caught this mother effer, bro. Never caught this mother effer. So basically, this man right here basically killed over 30-something people and never got caught. You know what I mean? That's the freaking, dang it, man. I was hoping that we had a good ending to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm very disappointed that you did not get caught. You know what I mean? You're dead now for surely. You know what I mean? This happened all the way in the 1960s. You're definitely dead because my dad was born